And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to the Tearing It Up podcast. How are we doing today? How's it going? It's going great over here at my home. I'm on my couch with Cowboy. He's laying next to me while I record. Let's see, when you're listening to this, it will be next Wednesday, and I will be soon to leave for a bachelorette in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've been to Scottsdale once before for a girls trip a couple years ago, and it was such a fun trip. Granted, I had recently become single, and it was like we were just having the best time ever. And we're going to Scottsdale for the weekend. It's for one of my best friends from college's bachelorette, and I'm going to see a bunch of my friends from college that I haven't seen in so long because we're all like long distance best friends. Nobody talks about how painful, why am I saying nobody talks about this? Quite literally everybody talks about this, but like long distance best friendships are the worst thing ever. Like those girls are my soulmates, and I'm like the funniest, best version of myself when I'm around them and we see each other once a year. I'm sure people can probably relate to that because it happens a lot after college where you meet like your core group of girls that you love, and then you guys all move to different cities, and it's like you see each other once a year. And it's weird that like now I'm entering this phase of life where like people are getting fucking married and like that we're doing that. Like what? I thought how did this shit move that quickly? But yeah, so when you're listening to this, I will be going to Scottsdale that weekend for the batch. I have some really cute outfits planned I'm excited about. Anywho, we're going to get into the episode with, the what should I call it? WWEL. Watching, wearing, eating, listening to. Like how can I like make a funny acronym for that? I don't know. But we're going to go over what I'm watching, wearing, eating, and listening to because that's my new intro because I don't know. I don't care. Wearing, okay, something I've been wearing recently that I really like, and it is a trend, but it's something that I actually really like and I think I will wear for a long time and is very versatile, is my Salomon sneakers. So they're like typically like hiking boots / trail shoes. They look a little funky. They're a little funky. They have like tread on the bottom. They're definitely more of like what looks like a traditional like hiking sneaker kind of, but they kind of have like a cool modern twist. They have fun colors, and I got a pair last year when I was in New York because they had a store there. And at first I was like, I don't know, will I wear these a lot? I don't know. I like them, but like, are they just a trend? I've been wearing them a lot. And the reason I really like these sneakers is because also this is like not sponsored. Whenever I'm talking about these things for the wearing, watching, eating, listening to, like this is not sponsored. In fact, I don't like make any money off this podcast. So just so you guys know, like this isn't an ad, but if anybody wants to sponsor the podcast, like I'm open to inquiries now. But Solomon's, back to it. I just remembered because whenever Rafa comes home from work and I'm like making TikToks or recording, he can hear me in the hallway. Like he can completely hear my voice, like everything that I'm saying. The walls are very thin in this building. And so I forget that when I'm recording the podcast, probably all my neighbors can hear this. And like, I wonder if they ever listen in and are like, what the fuck? I would listen in if I heard my neighbor recording a podcast. My ear would be glued to that wall. My Solomons. The reason I love them so much is they're comfortable, and you can wear them with jeans, like a little baggy jean moment, but you could also wear them to a Pilates class, or you could wear them hiking. They're just very versatile, and you could wear them to Coachella. They can do kind of it all, which I really like in a shoe. And I just think that's really cool. So that's the reason I've been really liking wearing them, because let's say you're going on a trip, like let's say you're going to Europe. These are the perfect shoe to bring because they could like look cute with like a pair of jeans and a sweater, but then you could also wear them on like a hike and they'd be good for walking all day. Same with New Balance. I feel like those are another very versatile shoe. Okay. Anyways, what I'm watching, guys, Temptation Island. The way I'm sitting right now, if you're watching the video, like elbows on knees, like I feel like I'm a little intense. I should probably sit back. I'm just getting really passionate, but we're watching Temptation Island on Netflix. Look, I was hesitant to start it. I was like, okay, I do love like a shitty reality show. It's like my guilty pleasure, but I was hesitant to start it because it just looked like some of these Netflix, like made for Netflix reality shows are so ass, but we started it. And let me just give you the premise of this show. I won't talk about this for too long because I know some people don't give a fuck, but like the premise of this show is that 4 couples, like couples that have been together a year plus, go into this island, Temptation Island, where the women split up. So the couple split up. The women go into a villa with like 10 guys that are meant to tempt them. And then the guys go in another villa with like 10 girls who are meant to tempt them. And the whole point of the show is like, will these couples stay loyal throughout whatever many weeks and like come back together, or will they cheat and like not be loyal? And a lot of these couples they have like had infidelity issues in the past. Like the guy's cheated on her and she's forgiven him, but like she still doesn't fully trust him. So that's why she brought him there. You guys, the men on this show are diabolical. Diabolical isn't even the correct term. It needs to be something worse than that. What is a worse term? They are horrendous. If this is actually like, if I just can't wrap my mind around that there's men like that in this world. Actually, yes, I can, but I fully can, but they are diabolical. I don't want to spoil it if anyone hasn't watched it and want to watch it, but the women are minding their P's and Q's over in their villa, just being perfect little angels pretty much. And these men it's worse than you would imagine, in my opinion. Last night, Rafa and I were both like hand over mouth, like, holy shit, how is this real? Interesting. It's an interesting show. It definitely hooks you, and it's not one of those like boring snooze fest reality shows. So I'm really liking it. Now, what I'm eating, I don't really have anything that interesting that I'm eating this week, but something I've been eating a lot more of recently is steak. I feel like this is like something that would get clipped. Like, not everyone needs a fucking podcast. Like, why am I sitting here saying like, oh, I've been eating steak recently? You know what I mean? But I have been eating steak. I have been eating steak more recently because I didn't used to be a steak person at all. I kind of always gravitated towards chicken. Like, I was just drawn to chicken. Anyways, but I got really into steak in the last year, probably because I finally started trying like actually good steak. I just been scarred from so many like gross, chewy steaks. That's why I wasn't a big fan. But like my friend Amelia makes really, really good steak. So she made me one and I was like, wait, I think I like steak. This was a while ago. We've been buying like prime beef ribeye steaks from H-E-B, from like the little meat counter. And it's damn good. And Rafa has learned to like make the steak really good with like rosemary and butter. And he cooks the steaks for me. I kind of love that, actually. It's really nice because usually when we cook, I'm cooking like for the most part, and he like helps me with like cutting and like the sides and like the air fryer. But he's cooking me these big ass steaks and I love it. I love it. And the amount of protein you get in one of those ribeyes is phenomenal. So I've been eating more steak recently and I've been loving it. Okay. I've been listening to Benson Boone. I know that's really basic and like a lot of people really like him, and I might be late to the party here, but I've been listening to him and I really like him. And some of his songs to me are giving like OG, like old One Direction. They are. I don't know. I'm sorry I'm here for someone else. I came to see. I don't know how it goes, but when I first heard it, I was like, am I listening to One Direction? And I kind of fuck with it. So Benson Boone, go off. Like him a lot. I'm into it. I think I'm going to start listening to him more. I tend to do this thing with artists where like I get obsessed and then I like listen to every song 8 million times and then I don't listen to them like ever again. And I just sometimes feel like I don't always have a healthy relationship with listening to music. Like I just get obsessed and then I get bored and then I don't listen for like 2 years. And then I come back 2 years later and I'm like, oh my God, why did I ever stop listening? So yeah, last night I posted this TikTok of Rafa and I, and we were actually watching Temptation Island and I was like, get up, we need to film this video right now, because I saw like multiple videos on my For You page recently of people being like, that Adele song and being like, when two worlds collide, and it's like a fake pregnant belly and then they give birth to a cat or like to a pet. And I was like, we have to do this. We have to do this right now. So 11 p.m. we're like setting up the tripod, filming this video. And I birthed my 2 cats in the video and I posted it, and you guys are loving it. You guys are really loving it. And it's reminding me when I first started posting TikToks, not like as a creator, because I think of like 2 different times in my life when it comes to social media. And there was when I started posting as more of a creator, like consistently making vlogs, like editing. And that was like a couple years ago. But then when I actually, the actual beginning of me posting TikToks was when I was in college and I lived with my roommates, who I'm going to see next weekend. And I would post the most random fucking weird videos, like, and they never did well or anything like that. Like they were never getting that many views, but they were the most like random, weird energy, like truly my actual, like what goes on in my head type shit. And I feel like last night that video was me. It was a very unserious me. And then I was like, you know what? I miss the days when I used to take TikTok less seriously. I think when it becomes so much of your life, like social media and stuff, it's hard not to think of it more seriously. But I just need to get back to shit posting random bullshit, because those were the best days and when I was having the most fun on the app. I miss a more unserious TikTok. And I don't think it's necessarily, I mean, it is me taking TikTok more seriously and like making more like polished content, but it's also like TikTok just isn't as fun as it used to be. And unfortunately, it used to be so fun and funny, and every video you scrolled and it was just like a funny bullshit shit post video. And so that was what everyone was posting. And I miss those days. I'm nostalgic for those days. And I want TikTok and Instagram to just be fun again. Like, can we be fun again? Can we, like a little bit? Like, we don't have to be fully fun again, but just like a little. Sometimes I just feel like this shit is way too serious. Let's get into the main course of this meal. And that is going to be anxiety. Guys, we're going to talk about anxiety today. It's not something I've necessarily dealt with my whole life. I mean, I think I was anxious in different, for like valid reasons as a kid, right? Public speaking, the start of a new school year. Like those are things that are like very normal to feel a little anxious about as a kid. Oh, actually, no. You know what you want to know what gave me the most anxiety as a child? I just realized I don't know. This gave me crippling anxiety to the point where I couldn't go to school. I have really, really bad edemophobia, which is fear of throw up, vomit. I mean, who doesn't have a fear of throw up or vomit to some extent? But like I had it really bad as a kid. I've gotten over it a little more as an adult, because when you're in college, you're around so many people puking all the fucking time that you kind of have to get over that fear a little bit more. But I had it really bad as a kid. And if a kid would throw up in class, because kids just, that's what they do. They just like vomit on their desk in front of everybody, or on people, or right in front of people. Like there's no controlling that. It would send me into a spiral. Like I would hyperventilate. And that was when I really first experienced bad anxiety, was those situations as a kid. Like I remember once in first grade, this kid vomited all over his desk, and I literally would not go to school for multiple days. My mom had to drag me back to that school because I was just so like traumatized by it. I don't know. So moral of the story, I feel like that's actually when my anxiety started. But when it started becoming more of a frequent thing in my life, like where I started feeling anxious very often, is when I entered adulthood. Like I went on a trip to Vegas with my friends in college. We went crazy. We were, out in Vegas just like being psychos, and having the nights of our lives. Like I look back on it and it was so much fun and those memories were amazing. But holy shit, when I got on the flight home, I just felt so horrible. And for the first time, I was like, I'm going to have a panic attack. I'd never experienced that feeling, aside from maybe when kids would throw up. I was like probably pretty close to having a panic attack, and I couldn't like breathe on the flight. And I just was like, I don't know. It was the worst, most horrible experience where you just like feel so out of control. But in my head, I was like, okay, I'm sure it was just because of all these, the way I was feeling post Vegas, right? I'm like hungover. I feel like shit, like haven't slept. Like I'm sure that was the reason. Well, it wasn't. It was really interesting, because from that day forward, not every day or anything, but like frequently I would start to feel out of control, or like I was going to have a panic attack, or, oh my God, all of a sudden these super anxious feelings are coming back. Why is this? And so that's kind of when it all started. And kind of what I realized over the next few years is, I mean, of course I would have anxiety fairly regularly, but when I'd have like that panic attack type feeling where like I can't breathe, I feel out of control, I can't control my mind right now, it's always in situations where I feel like there's no escape, or like I'm not necessarily like in control. And so like, I remember once like I was on a boat and I felt like, oh my God, I can't get off this boat. Like I'm stuck on this boat. We're in the middle of a lake. So I started getting really anxious. Or like anytime I'm on a plane, I have really bad flight anxiety. You can't escape. Sometimes even like when I'm driving and I'm in traffic and like, I just feel like I'm enclosed with like all these other cars, and like I'm just in, like I'll get super anxious. So I've realized kind of what triggers that, because that's like the worst form of it for me possible, is that feeling where like you feel like your chest is closing up and you can't breathe, and like you just feel like you're gonna faint. And I think a lot of the fear stems from like, I'm gonna faint, like I'm gonna pass out, like I'm gonna pass out at the wheel And then like I don't know. So, which my friend Jade did tell me that could potentially be a little bit of OCD. So I don't know, maybe I need to talk to someone about that. But yeah. So, but that's not necessarily the whole type of anxiety we're talking about today, because also like, I feel like I haven't done like a ton of research into the different types and triggers and things. So again, like I'm not certified in shit. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, please, because I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just sharing my experience truly. And if some advice comes out of whatever I'm saying today, great. However, I don't really know what's about to happen. Let's just start with what are some of the things in my life that give me anxiety, not necessarily like panic feeling, but just general anxiety. I would say the first one is very common, putting myself out there with new people and like making new friends. I feel like this is something I've gotten better at in the last couple of years, but it used to really freak me out, especially like when I first moved here and I didn't know anybody. And I felt like, okay, I've moved from this state where like I did know people and people knew me, and now I'm in this new place and like I kind of have the opportunity to like not fully rebrand, but like come off however, like I don't know, just start over in a sense and make new friendships. And yeah, because I feel like back home, like I had my core group and that's who I was close with, but like I didn't feel like I feel like I didn't branch out much past that because I was just so in my own bubble. And now that I was here, I was like, okay, I can kind of like, I can be whoever the fuck I want to be. And I didn't always love like who I was back home. I didn't like hate who I was, but I just wanted to like, okay, now I'm in my 20s. I want to make new friendships. I want to be more intentional with them. And yeah, and I want to be a better person, right? As I got older, I'm like, I want to like work on myself, be a better person, be really proud of who I am. And putting myself out there with new people was scary when I first moved here. I mean, I feel like it is for anybody, but I realized like I just had to force myself to do it or I was never going to meet anybody. And I was so much more anxious, like sitting at home, like feeling like, oh my God, I don't have anyone. I don't have anything to do. Like I want to go hang out with people. I want to go do something, but like, I don't have any friends. That was giving me more like so much anxiety that I was like, I just got to get past this anxiety and go and meet people and like try to put myself out there. And so yeah, that was something I started doing gradually. And I think it's interesting because sometimes you can put yourself out there with people and like it doesn't land and like you don't vibe, and it can be easy to just like be like, fuck, they didn't like me, or like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna be friends. I don't know if we vibed. And it's something over time that like I just had to accept and realize that you're not gonna vibe with everybody that you meet, and it's gonna take a long time of like dating people to figure out who you vibe with and who you're gonna be friends with. And that's why like the first year of living here, for example, so like the first year of living here, I would post on TikTok like, I just moved to Austin and I'm looking for friends. And like, I wasn't necessarily like a creator at the time or anything like that, but like sometimes they would get a couple, like, you know, they would get some views and likes, and like sometimes girls would comment like, oh my God, I just moved here too. And like I would through DMs, like just hang out with people that I connected with through like TikTok or Instagram at the time. But I also like, I feel like I have to say this because it's like, I wasn't like a creator. Like I didn't have like a huge following or anything like that, but I was like trying to post here and there, and occasionally would get like comments from other girls in Austin. And so like I would DM them and we'd hang out. And at first, like it was so nerve wracking. Like, oh my God, what the fuck am I going to say to this person? One time I got set up on a double date through like a mutual friend with this girl. And I was like, we are not even from the same state. I've never done this in my life, like dated friends, right? Like going on friend dates, because, you know, college and high school, you're just naturally around people that you just become friends with. But like going and sitting at a restaurant and being like, hi, so awkward. But what helped me get through it truly, and what I still do to this day, is like, when in doubt, just ask questions. Just ask them questions. Don't treat it like an interview, but like ask them questions. Where are you from? And if you feel like nervous while they're talking, like just think of the next question. And that's kind of what I did, I guess, to try to get over that. And I still have the fear of like new people. How will they perceive me? Will they like me? Will they want to be friends with me? That's something that probably will never go away. But I guess, yeah, again, I'm like, is this an advice podcast? I don't know. Cause it's something that I still struggle with. So it's not like I have a remedy for it, but what has helped is forcing myself to put myself out there, go hang out with new people, asking them questions. And I think too, like, it's very easy in passing to be like, oh my God, you know, let's do something soon. Let's go on a walk. Let's get a coffee. Like, oh, we'll have to do a double date soon or whatever. But it's like so easy to just like get caught up in life and never follow up on it and never hang out and think like, oh, well, they probably really didn't want to. You have to follow up. I realized that recently, like friendships do not get made. They do not stay consistent. They do not get formed if you sometimes need to do the outreach. You need to start that conversation and be like the catalyst of it, because sometimes people are also busy and they're not thinking about it. And so that's something I also really tried to do is like, I'll do the outreach like, hey, let's go on a walk Friday. I'm telling you a week in advance. Are you down? And then they'd be like, yes. And it's just being intentional with like making plans and trying to get to know people better, because yeah, it's just like so easy to say like, oh yeah, we'll do something and then never doing it. So that's something I tried to do, and it eventually worked. But I will say the first year living here in Austin was quite lonely. Like I only had a couple of friends that I made through work. But once I hit like my second year, which is kind of when I went through a breakup and I was like, hey, I'm single. That's when I was like really like, all right, bitch, you got to put yourself out there. Like you got to make friends, because like you're single now, you're living alone. Like you got to do this. And I just realized I would rather be anxious, but like knowing I'm making a few steps towards making new friends than like be at home and be anxious that I'm not doing anything and like sad that I don't have anyone to hang out with. So yeah, that's one of the things that gives me anxiety. And then the second one is, so putting myself out there with new people, but also putting myself out there online. Back in the day, I used to just be so anxious about everything. Like I would only post if like I had run it by 5 friends and I thought I looked really good and I thought it wasn't embarrassing, and I would sit on my caption for like 3 weeks. Like I hated the thought of people perceiving me. And I think it's something that I just started, I'm trying to really like think back to like, how did I start just like not caring and start posting? But I think truly I used to care a lot about like, I used to have a lot more of like a male following. It's true, on like Instagram and TikTok. And I think like I would care like, oh my God, what will guys think? Will they think like I'm stupid or like not, or will they think like I'm embarrassing or cringe or like I look bad or whatever? And like, why was I doing that for the male gaze? But like I was. It's unfortunate. It's a travesty, but I was. And I've lost a lot of that male following obviously now, since like I have a boyfriend and stuff. But I think one thing that helped is like getting into a relationship where I feel really secure. It's like I don't fucking care anymore like what especially men think of me on the internet. So I think that helped me a lot, like get past the how do I look and like I need to look perfect and this and that and that. And I think I kind of just had an epiphany one day that I was like, wait, there's always going to be people who don't like you, or like who don't think you're attractive, or who don't think you're funny, and that's just like that. And like you just have to accept it. And that doesn't mean you should not do what you want to do or not post what you want to post because of it. And it's, again, this is something I still struggle with. So it's like I can't sit here and be like, I have all the advice to like not care and like not feel embarrassed putting yourself out there, because like, again, it's something I still get anxiety about. And it's especially when I garden, like at night, if I take a garden gummy, sometimes my brain will be like la di da di da, and then sometimes my brain will be like spiral and be like, you need to delete all your accounts, like what are you doing? But then I always wake up the next day and I'm like, I'm fine, like I'm fine, I'm literally so fine. And so I always just remind myself when I'm having those feelings, it's like, just go to bed, you're gonna be fine in the morning. Like you're just spiraling right now, because sometimes gardening truly does make me spiral. But with that, on like the social media stuff, also like I think the bigger thing here than the fear of putting myself out there online, because that is something that I struggled with a lot in the past, and I feel like I've definitely gotten over it a lot more in the last few years of doing this. And it's honestly, that was all through just exposure therapy and just doing it and like forcing myself to like, okay, I'm going to post this, and starting with like little things. Like I started with little run videos, and then I started with like Austin Recs, and like I slowly started to build confidence doing like what I was comfortable with on the internet. Which is funny, because I remember I was saying in college I would like shit post the funniest videos. I would in college, and then when I got into like trying more to be a creator, I started overthinking it a lot more, and I would not like shit post nearly as much. And I started with like run videos, and then I started with like Austin Recs, and then once I got kind of comfortable with those, that's when I started feeling more like I could show more different parts of me. So it really was just like exposure therapy and forcing myself to do it. But the bigger thing with the social media stuff that gives me anxiety is I think social media comparison. And that's something that I feel like never goes away. Like if you don't feel like you get online and see like other people and compare yourself, like actually like you've probably perfected your brain at this point, because it's actually very hard not to do that. I just think you can like, you scroll and you see so many different types of lifestyles and things that people are doing and careers that people have and diets and workouts and hair and routines. And it's like, it can be so consuming of like, what do I do? What do I like? What do I want? And it's so easy to just get caught up in all of that noise. And I don't feel like this used to be as big of a thing, like in the earlier days of social media, like before TikTok and stuff, because we were just looking at like Alexis Ren videos. And sure, I was like, oh my God, I fucking wish that was me. Like, she has a hot ass boyfriend and is running around Bali. But we just weren't hit with as much of it. And at the rate that we are now, it's like the second you open your phone, you see so many different things. And it's so easy to just start like questioning your reality and like what you want and what you like. And like, let's say you really like something. Like, for example, I talked about earlier on the podcast, like that I had listened to some Mel Robbins at the beginning of the year, and I felt inspired by it, and I thought that she had some good messages and whatever. And then like you can get on social media and see a TikTok that's like Mel Robbins gives like the worst advice and this and this and this, and then you can be like, start questioning your reality of like, oh, like you're being gaslit. You're like, oh, like does she? And maybe I was wrong. And the same goes for like lifestyle stuff. Like you can live a certain type of lifestyle and have a certain type of routine, and then you go on social media and you see somebody else's and you're like, oh, maybe I should be doing that. Or it's like career stuff. You see how somebody pivoted in their career to this and you're like, oh fuck, I should be there. And so yeah, again, like I wish I had like groundbreaking advice to share with you on like how I cope with these things, because it's something that I definitely still experience every single day. Like I'll get online and I just really have to tell myself that like, I really just have to repeat in my head, like social media is a highlight reel. And like these people, you are curating content. You are showing people what you want to show them. And of course you want to show a healthy looking routine or a whatever it is. Like it is a highlight reel. And I know that as a creator, it's a highlight reel. And I really want to try to start posting the more like realistic parts of my life and not necessarily make everything so curated. And I try to throw those in there because yeah, it's just sometimes when you see this like super highly curated stuff, it just gets so in your head and it gives me anxiety. Yeah. So that's just like one of the things that truly like it stresses me out. And I have a list here of the ways that I remedy anxiety, and that one, I'm going to tell you right now, the way you remedy that one, there's really one way, and it is putting your fucking phone down. Unfortunately, like I don't know if there's another one. So the second that I start to feel like brain rot, questioning my reality, comparing myself, starting to feel bad about myself, that's when I'm like, girl, put the phone down, go on a walk. And the second you just start living in your own body and your own life and around the people that you love or your pets or your family or whatever, you're like, no, actually, like, I'm okay where I'm at. I just needed to put my phone down. So I guess that is my advice off of that one. But next is flying. I said this earlier, but I get bad flight anxiety. Yeah, it's just, I mean, who doesn't? If you get on an airplane and you're like, this is awesome, I'm having the best time, I'm actually quite jealous of you. And like, is that real? Yeah, I didn't feel like I used to get flight anxiety, but it developed in my early 20s. And yeah, I mean, the way I remedy that one, guys, you want to know, I take a lorazepam. Yeah. So I've talked to my psychiatrist about my anxiety with flying. So that's something I'm prescribed and I take very minimally, but it helps me a lot with my anxiety when I fly. So yeah, I do take that. It does help. And I would rather take that every rare occasion that I need it when I'm flying. Sometimes I don't feel like I need it when I'm flying, but like, let's say you're doing like a long haul flight, like, okay, I would rather take that and not be fucking freaking out the whole flight than be sitting there like shaking, freaking out, feeling like I can't breathe. So I also hate flying alone. I hate flying alone. I've noticed I don't really get nearly as bad anxiety on flights if I'm with someone, whether it's my family or Rafa or whatever. But if I'm flying alone, that's when I'm the most anxious. And like another thing that really helps that for me is it's just like drinking water, but like having a big ass water. For some reason, when I feel like out of control or like I'm gonna like faint, it's just like I know, like my brain knows, like if I have water, like I'm gonna be fine. So I try to drink a lot of water, which sucks because then I have to pee a lot on the plane. And box breathing, where you go in for 3 seconds, hold that breath in for 3 seconds, and then you exhale for 3 seconds, and then you hold at the bottom of your exhale for 3 seconds. And like you do like box breathing, and it's where you do super deep breaths, because whenever your heart starts racing, like you just need to breathe. So yeah, that's what I do when I fly. Now, another thing that gives me anxiety is what I'm doing with my life and uncertainty about the future. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty normal one too. I feel like if you ask ChatGPT, like, what are things that give people anxiety? Like, that one's for sure coming up. But yeah, it's an interesting feeling. And I think it's something that's very, very normal. And like most people probably feel that way. And if you don't, like you must have a very normal functioning brain. I don't know. Is that real? Do people actually feel that way? So yeah, I think this is a very normal one, but I don't know. I just feel like there's times in my life where I'm like, if I do this, if I get here, there's no way I'll feel like anxious anymore about it, or like I'll feel good. Like I'll be content. I'll be happy. Like I won't be thinking about it. And then you get to that point, whether it's like a job change or moving or finding a partner or whatever it is. And then you get there and you're like, the anxiety didn't really go away because I'm now thinking kind of about the next thing. And I can be very future forward and like trip about the future constantly. Like I'll, get something that I want. Let's say I want to move into this apartment really, really bad. And you move in, and then it's like, you're there and you're like, okay, yay, I'm here and I'm all moved in. And then, a couple months later, you can start thinking like, well, I should have a house now. Or like, oh, well, I should probably be aiming for this now. And it's just like the next thing. And I do think that a lot of the happiest people are just like happy in the present and they're just content in the current moment. And I think that's a very impressive skill to develop if you can just like fully be present. But something that, truly gives me anxiety is just like the uncertainty about the future. And I don't know, I just don't know if I'll ever feel like fully secure in everything. But yet your brain thinks that like, oh, well, once I have a house, I'll be fine. But then once you have a house, you're tripping about the mortgage and the repairs and this broke and that broke. And so I don't know, it's kind of like a never ending loop. And it's something that I'm trying to be better about. I'm trying to be better about being present. Like I definitely don't feel like I have many remedies for it other than like, bitch, you got to focus on the present. Okay. Another one is, it's off of that. And I feel like this is similar, but like not feeling like you're doing enough. I feel like I've always been someone that like can't think that what I'm doing is enough. I always feel like I need to do more. There's somebody out there doing more. There's somebody out there who's like working harder or doing this. And it's like, why aren't you doing that? You should be doing that. And I kind of talked about this, I think in the first episode back when we relaunched, on how like when I started content creation more seriously, I was like, okay, now I need a podcast and a YouTube and I need this and I need that. And because I saw like other people have that and I need to do that. And it's not just when it comes to like social media, but a lot of things I feel like it goes back to the like the comparison thing too. I guess they are all kind of related to each other, but yeah, it's like so easy to see other people's lives and be like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. Like I need to be doing more. I always feel there's days where like, I feel like I'm like, okay, you did enough today, like relax, chill. But I definitely struggle with just being like, you should be doing more. But like I shouldn't be. Okay. I'm doing enough. And this is advice like I would give people. It's like, no, you are doing enough. Relax, sit back, chill out, enjoy your fucking shows in the evening and your dinner. Like you've done so much today. But to myself, I'm very hard on myself. But you listening, I just want you to know you're doing enough. You're great. You're amazing. And I'm being negative. Should I just change the whole topic of this? Like I'm being so negative, but no, I'm just being honest. And that's something I need to work on is the negative self-talk. And I remember my therapist telling me this, like, you need to just like, at the end of the day, be like, okay, I've done it. I'm good. Chill, be happy, relax. And there are some days I definitely feel like I can do that. But here and there, I struggle with that feeling of like, you should be doing more. And realistically, like we're human, we can only do so many things. Our brains can only compartmentalize so many things in a day. And then you add in like ADHD or anxiety into the mix of these things. And it's like, it's even harder. So give yourself grace. I'm going to give myself grace. Speaking this out loud into existence is like me being like, okay, wait, I should give myself a little grace today and the rest of the week. And you're perfect. You're doing enough. You're on the right track. Me just spewing like random advice out loud after just shitting on myself, being like, you're perfect. You're doing enough. You're great. But no, you guys actually are. And it's funny because I look at other people like my friends and stuff. And I'm like, you're amazing. You do so much. You're like incredible. You deserve a fucking margarita right now at 10 a.m. But I'm just meaner to myself. And sometimes like that is a motivational thing, because it's like I'm glad that I put pressure on myself. But at the same time, it's like, no, you should be able to sit back and just be like, you're doing plenty and you're fine, and not be tripping. But this is something I need to work on. And it's speaking it out loud onto the podcast is actually kind of liberating for me, because I'm like, saying it out loud makes it very real. And it's like, okay, this is something I should try to control more. But that gives me anxiety, guys. Yeah. Something actually though that helps me remedy that, I will say something, I'm just looking at my notes and I'm realizing there is something that does help me remedy the feeling of like that I'm not enough, is having a healthy routine. I feel like if on the days that I wake up and I move my body to some capacity, whether it's a walk or a 10-minute YouTube workout or a workout class, and I feed myself in one way or another breakfast, and I do get, some work done that day, and maybe I call my mom and I connect with her, and then like after the day's done, I cook dinner with Rafa and eat dinner and clean up dinner and whatever. Those days I do feel like if I have accomplished a routine to some capacity, I'm like, okay, you're good. You're doing enough. I think it's the days where like I feel a lot lazier and I like struggle to maintain that routine, and which is so fucking normal. That's the days where I really let that feeling like consume me more. So yeah, I guess that's a way I remedy, is like trying to stick to a somewhat realistic routine really helps me not feel like that feeling. But in times where, yeah, I've like just been out of routine, no motivation, not feeling good, that's when I'm really like, oh, you're not doing enough, and that's annoying, because it's like, but it's okay to have those days, and everybody needs a fucking rot day in the sheets. And every now and again, or like there's going to be days where you just can't fucking do it, and you're like, for me, I'm on my period or whatever it is, or I'm just like feeling sad about something that day. So I literally I feel like I'm in Severance, like talking to my inner self, like my innie and outie are speaking to each other right now, because I'm like, it's okay to do those things. And then to me, I'm like, but I feel like shit on those days. I'm like, so listen, Taryn, it's okay to have your days where you feel like shit, and just relax and just like loathe. It's okay to loathe and not, you're doing enough. You're fine. The next one is, I already talked about this, like the fear of losing control and having a panic attack. I already said that one. So we're actually going to move on to things that worsen my anxiety. So these are the things that just truly make it worse than it already is. I mean, it's already not great when I'm just in my normal brain, but these things make it even worse. The first one, you can probably guess what it is. Alcohol. Yeah. Alcohol. Yeah. We've all had anxiety. If you haven't, I actually have a couple friends, not many, but like a couple friends who don't get anxiety. They don't get hangxiety. I have like one of my really good friends. She was like, I forget what she was anxious about. Oh, it was something to do with work, like having to tell her boss something. And she was like, Taryn, like I'm experiencing anxiety. Like I never experienced this feeling. And I was like, what? Girl, like you should clap, because that's great. That's awesome for you. And she like will drink and like not get anxiety. I'm like, how? I wake up after drinking and my body, I have the shakes. My heart rate is like 120 miles an hour. Instantly my brain goes back to like, who did I speak to last night? What did I say? What did they say? Did I embarrass the fuck out of myself? And then I start like thinking about everything that I've said the night before, and I'm like, oh my God, why would I say that? And it's really like nothing that bad, but I'll be like, why did I say that? Like they probably think I'm so stupid. They probably think like I'm so annoying. They probably think I'm a fucking freak. And I just like trip the fuck out about it. And then it's funny because you think about people that you've talked to when you're out, and like you're not sitting in bed like thinking about them nonstop, and they probably aren't about you, but like your brain just like goes there. Anxiety to me is like one of the worst forms of anxiety, because it's like so crippling, and you mix the feeling of feeling horrible physically with feeling horrible mentally, and it's a dark, scary place. I haven't had it really bad in a while, but there's been times where it's been brutal. I feel like something that remedies that is like when you live with roommates, and like you can just like wake up and like shoot the shit and like laugh, and like they make you feel better about it. But like waking up with anxiety when I was like living alone was like a scary dark place. I'm like, I need to call someone. I need to FaceTime someone. Like someone's got to talk me off this ledge right now. But yeah, that's one that definitely worsens it. And then lack of sleep. That's also very like standard. But dude, when you're not sleeping enough, that like it's just like, I know I'm going to be anxious that day about something one way or another. But I've said this, but like getting this smart ring really helped me get my sleep a lot more dialed in this year, because if I wake up and I see that I got 6 hours, I'm like bummed. I'm like, damn, like what can I do tonight to like not make that happen? So been trying to go to sleep a little bit earlier, and I've been taking like the Ollie sleep gummies here and there when I can't sleep, and they work really well. So lack of sleep, big one. Oh my God, you mix lack of sleep and alcohol together, which pretty much every time you drink, you don't get good sleep. Because I don't know about you guys, but I wake up at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. after drinking, and I cannot go back to sleep, and my heart is like racing. Oh, you mix those two together, it's just fucking horrible. And then, another one that worsens it is, like living, like not keeping to at least somewhat of a routine. Like when I don't feel like I have a routine and I'm just like jumping from one thing to the next, and I'm not really being active at all, and like I'm eating out constantly and like things like that, that's where I really notice my anxiety gets worse. Cause like I said, like, I guess a lot of it is a control thing. Like your routine is something that you can kind of control. And when you feel like you've controlled it to an extent, like you've done the things you need to do that day to feel good, you feel better. You don't feel as anxious. But it's like, yeah, when I'm in a routine that I'm not really in control, and I'm kind of like bouncing from thing to thing, and I'm a little bit too tired to do this, and I'm too tired to do that, and like I don't want to do that, and I lack the motivation, I just don't feel in control, and I get anxious. So that's another thing that worsens it. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's normal to just have those days every now and again. Like you're gonna have days where you just are like, fuck everything, and I want to just lay on the couch and I want to order out. And so it's just like finding the balance of like having those days when you need them, but like also trying to stick to a routine when you can. And then, okay, these are, did I talk about this? So ways that I listed out some ways that I try to remedy things. I know I kind of touched on a few of these because I said like deep breathing, and gardening is a funny one that I have listed, because sometimes gardening really helps my anxiety and sometimes it absolutely worsens it. And I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to that, because like sometimes you just go a little too over the edge with it and you're like, I'm way more anxious than when I began this. But it's interesting because I used to not be able to consume weed to any capacity a couple years ago, because I'd, done it a few times, like college and stuff. And like every single time I would do it, I would just get so anxious and so like feel like shit. And so I kind of swore off it for a while, but then maybe a little over a year ago or so, I got introduced to just like microdose THC gummies. I started with like cured nutrition ones, and then I kind of moved to like early bird, and then I kind of got into more like THC drinks and things like that. And I noticed like if I do it in very small doses, I can enjoy it. It's like when we do it in too big of doses that we don't enjoy it. So I realized I was like, okay, I can have a relationship with gardening if we don't pass a certain point. So sometimes I can pass a certain point and then I'm like, fuck. But I just think the biggest thing is like, so when I take a gummy or whatever, my brain can just be like, start overthinking everything and think everybody hates me, and like, what am I doing? And like, why am I doing this? And like I said, like I want to like delete all my accounts, and I want to like, everyone hates me, and I forgot to do this, and I need to text this person back, and oh my God, they probably don't, like just spiraling about everything. And spiraling about like, what am I doing with my life? Yeah. And you guys are probably like, then why do you garden if this happens? Because it helps me sleep. It does help me sleep. And in a weird way, like it does relax my body, but sometimes it doesn't relax my mind. But sometimes the payoff is like worth it, because like the feeling of like relaxing my body is so nice that I'm like, I'll let my mind spiral. But no, I've really learned to control that if it's just a matter of like not doing too much, and I'm fine. So that's something that can help. If you guys ever notice, I touch my hair a lot, especially like when I'm talking and when I'm like podcasting, or when I'm on a call, like a Zoom call or something. I touch my hair a lot. Like it's a nervous habit, and that's something I do when I'm like anxious or nervous. It's like I will just touch my hair like this. And I remember getting called out about it at work once, like, you need to stop doing that shit. I just like can't help it. But I know it's like not good for your hair actually to like put your like oils on it 24/7. So like, it's probably not good that I'm doing this, but it's such a bad nervous habit. But like, it does help me like cope when I like touch my hair. I feel like everybody has like their thing. I've gotten more into like fidget spinners recently. That's another thing that really helps. I literally have one right here. But like fidgeting, I think it's an ADHD thing, but like fidgeting really helps me like put my energy elsewhere. And then this one doesn't work very often, but I try, but like telling myself that it's just my brain, especially when I'm feeling like those feelings of panic and like, I can't breathe. Because I've seen, you know, so many people say like, it really is, it's your brain, it's your mind. You can control your brain and your mind if you really try or want to. I haven't quite figured that one out yet, unfortunately, but I'm trying. So I do sometimes try to tell myself, especially when I'm feeling that like, I can't really breathe, like I really don't feel good, is like, it's your mind. And I'm like trying to instill that into my head over and over and over again, that like I can control this. Sometimes I can, sometimes I feel like I can't, but it is something that I do attempt to try. And then my pets really help soothe me. They really help soothe me. Like if I'm feeling anxious and I've been consuming too much, let's say like social media, or something not great is going on, or there's whatever that is making me anxious, or I'm nervous about like upcoming travel, and I just like put the screens down for a second, and I just like go over and I hug my cat and like pet him and really like intentionally spend time with my pet, where I'm like kind of like just chilling with him, talking to him, petting him, kissing him. I feel way better after. I mean, animals are therapeutic. That's why there's like therapy dogs and therapy animals out there. But I actually now like having pets. Like I don't know if I could not have a pet. And I don't know. Yeah. Like especially, and not just anxiety, but when I'm feeling sad too about things, like I just feel like being able to like touch a pet and have like a soothing animal near you. Mine are very soothing, especially Cowboy, because he like cuddles me on my chest and like sleeps with me every single night. Whiskey's a little more hands off. It's therapeutic as fuck. And then the last one, guys, and this is what I said this earlier, but putting my phone the fuck down really helps. I have not established how to have like a healthy relationship with social media yet. It's something I hope I do establish, but with this kind of career path for me and doing social media, you really do, like, I feel like a lot of the most successful creators, like they consume content to get inspired, but they like create more than they consume, right? Like I feel like a lot of like the big creators that we think of that are so busy and they're flying around to all these things and they're always like on a plane, and there's no way they're just like sitting scrolling all the time, right? Like I feel like they scroll a little bit to like get ideas, but then they're like busy and they're making content or whatever. And not trying to say that that's like necessarily what I want to be or where I want to be, but I would like to have a healthier relationship with it where I'm not consuming as much. But like also I love consuming. I love seeing like the creators that I follow that I love and the girlies that I follow that I love's content. So I think it's just a matter of like setting boundaries with it. And maybe I should do like the screen time locks and stuff, and that would probably help me. But especially when I garden, dude, when I garden, like I can doom scroll. That is when I doom scroll the absolute worst, is when I garden. It's just like my brain like almost like I don't even know how to explain it. My brain almost like shuts off. Like I'm watching, but like nothing's going on upstairs, and I'm like doom scrolling, and it's like hard to look away and like put it down. I feel like maybe anybody who gardens here could like relate to that. But I don't know, when I'm like high and I'm watching videos, I'm like so entertained, but like time passes so fast and it's like kind of scary. And then I never feel good after. I never feel better after. I never feel less anxious after. And so yeah, finding Rafa and I actually really want to buy this like lockbox thing for your phone, because we both consume social media a lot and we're trying to be a lot better about it, especially because like once you live with someone and like let's say they get home from work and like you guys both just like get on the couch and you start scrolling, like that is like free time after work at like 6 p.m. before you cook dinner that like you can be like catching up on the day or whatever you want, like connecting with one another. But it's very easy to just like, okay, the day's over, like let's just kind of consume content and sit there, and we never feel better after, like I've said. So we've been looking into this, like I forget what it's called, but it's this like, I'm sure if you look up like phone lockbox, it's this lockbox that you just put your phone in and it'll lock it for like an hour. And I honestly think it could be the move. I've also been doing, actually I have a remedy for this. I've been doing just like no phone walks. a couple times a week where like I'll go plug my phone in the room and then I'll just go on a walk without my phone. And I won't do like 5 miles or like super long time, but like I'll go walk like 2 miles, 2 or so miles, whatever, without my phone. And I come back and I'm like, wow, I feel fucking great right now. Like I feel awesome. Like I was just like with my own head, able to like reflect and think about my day or think about things that I need to think about. Cause it's so easy to just get on your phone and turn your fucking brain off. And then you get off your phone and you're like, I feel a little more anxious now. I've just consumed so much different types of content. I am questioning what I think and how I feel about different things. And yeah, going on no phone walks, you should try it. It's the vibe. Although the safety portion is a little concerning because like you should have a form of communication on you. Maybe I should buy a flip phone. I carry like my pepper spray and like a weapon. Well, not like a gun, but I carry like my pepper spray and I need to get a birdie alarm. But I guess I didn't even think about the fact that like, yeah, how would you contact someone? Maybe I need to get a flip phone for my no phone walks. Actually, that's probably a better idea. But yeah, it's funny because when I was sitting down today, like, what should I talk about on the podcast? And I was starting to get anxiety about like, what should I talk about? I don't know. Nothing that I'm coming up with is good enough. And then I was like, girl, talk about anxiety because you're literally anxious right now. And yeah, so that's why I ended up talking about this topic. And I don't know if this was helpful or insightful at all. I just wanted to like talk about it and like spew it. And I guess I'm starting to use this podcast as a form of therapy in some ways. But you know, I tried to share a couple remedies for things that I do to make me feel less anxious, but I think anxiety is something I'll probably deal with for the rest of my life. I feel like that's not something, I mean, are there? Yeah, there probably are people who are like, I healed my anxiety. And girl, I'll buy your fucking course because I'm interested. But like, don't tell me you healed it through like eating fruit and shit because I don't believe you. But anywho, that's why I wanted to talk about it. And I love gabbing on the podcast. Gabbing. I'm gabbing. I'm getting a lash lift tomorrow. I just got my appointment reminder. A lash lift is where they like perm. Is it perm? They basically take your eyelashes and they lift them up permanently for like a couple weeks. It lasts like, I don't know, usually it lasts me like 6 weeks or so. And I'm getting one tomorrow by my beautiful friend, Meg Coleman. If you ever need a lash lift, go to Meg Coleman in Austin. She's awesome. She's been doing my lash lifts for a long time. I don't do them all the time, but I will do them maybe every 4 to 5 months because I feel like if you do them constantly, your lashes will like be like, girl, I'm tired. Like they will start falling out and shit. That's just what I assume. I've never done that, but I assume like if you put chemicals on your eyelashes all the time, like they would probably need a break after some point. So I try to do it periodically, but she is amazing and she does great lash lifts. She also does brow laminations and like tints. I just do the lash lift, but I love to do it before travel because it makes you just a little bit more low maintenance before you travel and you don't like, you feel prettier. I feel a lot prettier because like my lashes are lifted and I don't feel like I necessarily need to wear as much makeup. And she can also like tint them. So she tints mine a little bit darker. And then I have like nice, beautiful lashes for travel. And it makes like getting ready and stuff easier. I have 2 other really fun trips coming up in April aside from the Bachelorette, but they will be a surprise. You'll see them. I don't know when I'm going to say what they are, but I will. Now I'll tell you one of them. Okay. Cause I'm really excited about it, but it's Coachella. I'm excited. I've been to Coachella once and I'm going again. My friend TK, Taylor King, invited me because she's going and she invited me to come with her and I'm really excited. And she's someone that I met through the Ulta Beauty Collective, which is something I did the last year with Ulta, where it's like this collective of creators from like beauty to lifestyle to fashion, whatever. And that's where I met Taylor. And then I also met Kristen Hollinghouse, House Chris, the Diet Coke girl there. And we like quickly, us 3 just became like very fast friends. Like, I don't know, we just all like kind of clicked. So yeah, TK invited House Chris. I call her House Chris. I just think, I don't know, invited House Chris and I to Coachella with her. And so we're going and I'm very excited, guys. And I just figured out what I was going to wear yesterday. I'm going to do like a kind of girly, more bohemian vibe one day. And then the other day I'm going to do like a lot more casual, chill vibes. But figuring out outfits for that shit is stressful. Like I don't fucking know what people are wearing these days. So I just tried to go with like things I like versus like trying to figure out what are the people wearing to Coachella. I feel like everybody's going to be wearing micro shorts. I feel like that's like the biggest trend right now, which I did get my first pair of micro shorts actually yesterday, but it was for the Bachelorette, and they're like these sparkly black micro shorts. And I was worried like I'm going to look like shit. They actually look really cute. Like paired with like a pair of heels, they're pretty cute. So I'm excited to wear those next weekend. But yeah, Coachella's the other trip, and it'll be fun. I'm excited. But yeah, guys, I mean, that's it for this episode. I want to provide a recommendation actually, because I want to do this at the end of every episode where like I just provide a random recommendation of something that I like. Okay, what is it going to be? As you can see, every episode I'm like, I just come up with like a new bit that I'm going to do, and then like sometimes I forget about it. But what is my recommendation going to be today? Oh, I know my recommendation. It's going to be this Hydro Flask. The ones that have the straw, it's like this like kind of squishy straw. It looks like this if you're watching the video, and it's like a big jug. This encourages me to drink so much more water because it's like a fun little like chewy. I mean, I don't chew on it, but like it's like a fun little soft straw. And I just love a straw. Like I hate a water bottle that you have to like unscrew and stuff like that. Can be so hard and annoying because like you don't want to do it, so you drink less water. This thing makes me drink a lot of water. I feel like the ones that you unscrew are good for like going to the park and things like that, but like day to day, just like sitting around the house, like I need a good straw. This water bottle is amazing. I like my Stanley, but I like the straw of this one more. I'm telling you, it's the soft, like squishy straw that like makes it a game changer for me. So that's my recommendation. Oh, my second recommendation, fidget spinners. If you need to keep yourself busy with like your hands busy, get a fidget spinner, but specifically the one with poppers. This one has like these little like popping things in it, and it's really fun to pop, even when I'm like watching TV and stuff. So yeah, if you like to fidget, get a fidget spinner. Okay, those are my recommendations. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Tearing It Up podcast. We tore up what makes me anxious today and how I attempt to try to make it better. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you're also an anxious girly, I hope that today you're not feeling anxious and you're feeling amazing. And I hope this episode did not give you anxiety. Okay, have an amazing day. Have an amazing Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. You're halfway through the week, and I love you. Okay, goodbye.